Saw Sanaya Rivers have some incredible games en route to the Final Four a season ago. Struggled in the semifinal matchup against South Carolina as Edwards uses that base to create separation. Another three, that one off the mark from Jones, but a confident stroke. Collier on the floor. Pow wrestles it away. Pow dumps it down, good touch pass. Johnson, no. Madison Hayes taking some contact. Here's Rivers. Sanaya Rivers bodies in, and that's going to be called a charge on Rivers as Bree Hall took the body. Rivers, who transferred from South Carolina to NC State a couple of years ago.
Yeah, she threw out the left elbow on that one. That's a really nice job by Hall to take that contact, take the charge.
Some early personal on Rivers. We hear the ovation from Malaysia Fulwiley. A lot of South Carolina fans in the building here at Spectrum Center, where they're expecting a crowd over 15,000 in the building. Pretty great neutral site game, this doubleheader, as Pow couldn't finish. Rivers flings it up the floor. Here's Isaiah James cutting through and flipping in.
That was beautiful. Isaiah James finished on that with a step left-right.
Oh, and then Fulwiley to Pow. Love the pace here in this first quarter.
Both of these teams looking to go up and down if they can, get out in transition, run the floor.
A 10-10 game. Here's Jones, pull-up jumper, back iron and off. Rebound Johnson. Johnson off to Fulwiley, deflected out of bounds, stays with South Carolina. Ashlyn Watkins will check in for South Carolina. You hear the ovation for Watkins, who had faced charges of assault and kidnapping for an incident on August 31st. But the charges were dismissed November 1st. South Carolina lifted her suspension last week, rejoined the team Wednesday, and Dawn Staley told us is ready to roll today. As Fagan loses it out of bounds, we saw Watkins just absolutely shine in the NCAA tournament last season. Was the single most impactful defender in the tournament.
The semifinal game against NC State, a 20 rebound performance from Watkins.
James looks off the pass, couldn't quite curl it in. Here's Fulwiley. Out there with Fagan, Johnson, Watkins, and Pow. Watkins, no call. Can't bank it in. Rebound secured by NC State. Maddie Cox into the game for NC State. One of the bigs they're hoping will step up with the turnover. James cuts between the double and then gets denied. Here's Fulwiley. Oh, Malaysia! Nearly up to her old tricks, just couldn't quite finish it. Then Watkins takes it away, left it short. Boy, if Watkins is in the area, it's just difficult to get the ball into a guard's hand when you're a big in that situation.
She's quick, she's long. We've seen her pursue basketballs from one side of the floor to the other.
Jones looking to take Fulwiley. 4 minutes to go in this first, tied at 10. James trapped, Fagan, and tumbling into the front row. That is going to be a jump ball, a held ball, and South Carolina has the possession arrow. 10-10 game, good action in the first between South Carolina and NC State. At Spectrum Center, NC State, South Carolina tied at 10 apiece. The Allied tip-off, Ryan Rucall alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. So happy to be with you. Good action early for both of these teams. South Carolina, we know Rebecca coming off a dominant, undefeated championship season, bringing back so much of their talent that won a title a season ago. And then you add in one of the top recruits in the nation, Joyce Edwards, as well.
Yeah, no longer have their separator, Camila Cardoso, but they have the backcourt that was so troublesome for everybody that they played a year ago because of their ability to make threes. This is still a deep team, a long team, an athletic team, and they're looking really good so far in the beginning of this game.
All right, for a little more on South Carolina, let's send things over to another Hall of Famer, Holly Rowe.
Well, the last time we saw South Carolina, they were busy going 38-0, one of the most dominant wire-to-wire performances we've ever seen, and 9 of those players returned to this year's squad for Dawn Staley. She has done a masterful job of we over me. She is loaded with so many individual players that are talented, the best in their high school, but they have found a way to come together and have incredible team chemistry, whether it's going to the White House. I was there on campus for a football game a couple of weeks ago, and they were all there together at the volleyball game. They hang out together, they work out together, and if TikTok is anything to go off of, their team chemistry is going to be the best you've ever seen because their dances are fire. It's a fun way to keep those talented players happy, but contributing to the team in the most beautiful way.
You see returning 87% of their minutes, 84% of their points from last year's championship team. Meanwhile, for NC State, a team that went to the Final Four for just the second time in program history. Last time was 1998. They bring back the 3 guards who led them there.
Yeah, their front court has moved on, but their back court has returned, and these are players now with experience. They have firepower on the offensive end. Not only can score, but can do it at all 3 levels, and we've seen them here getting out to a fast start as well.
Wes Moore in his 12th season at the helm of NC State joked with us, you know, I wish we were playing South Carolina a little bit later in the season, knowing it would be a tough test as they try and figure out their front court. And Dawn Staley, coming off a 3rd national championship, now in her 17th season at South Carolina, said, this group is probably a little looser than last year's group and a little looser than I like, and I tell them that.
They've been out there looking like they're having a lot of fun, though, here in the first 6 minutes of this one.
Here's Watkins. Watkins flings it out. Walker into the game, setting a screen for Johnson, who traveled, and South Carolina turns it over. Rebecca, we had a lot of back and forth buckets to begin this first quarter. Gone a few minutes now with both offenses stalling.
Yeah, it was a little bit frenzied, and in the first few minutes, South Carolina's done a great job of getting extra opportunities. They've taken 6 more shots than NC State because NC State turned it over, and because South Carolina, as we would expect, has gotten on the offensive glass.
Samaria Jones shovels underneath. Williamson banks it in. Lizzie Williamson, the Australian grad student, transfer from Southern Utah, and now coming up with a steal. Rivers leaning, can't hit. Rebound knocked around. Here's Fulwiley. Fulwiley cradles and finishes. Dawn Staley talked to us about Malaysia Fulwiley figuring out the in-between moments, not just the highlight moments. She said, you know, the game is played there, and she's a little uncomfortable there, but so willing to learn, so coachable. That's really the focus for Dawn with Malaysia this season.
Yeah, we saw early in the game where she went up and had a near beautiful finish in transition, but it's the plays like the one we just saw in the quarter court, driving to the basket. Those are the kind of finishes she needs to find consistently.
Fulwiley a little too strong, and Rivers the weak side rebound. Williamson lays it in on a nice delivery from Jones. How about Samaria Jones? We've seen her ability to shoot off the dribble and now make a couple nice passes as well. The number 17 prospect in this year's recruiting class.
I mean, especially considering this is a freshman in a really big environment, a big moment against the #1 team in the country. She has showed some really nice poise here.
Fulwiley leaning, gets fouled by Rivers. And Malaysia Fulwiley will shoot 2. That's going to be the second foul on Rivers, who picked up an offensive foul. Now, for those of you who are just joining us, who were not with us on the app, Chloe Kitts normally would start, not starting today because of an academic policy issue The freshman Joyce Edwards started instead. And then, for those of you just joining us as well, Ashlyn Watkins, playing in her first action, had faced charges of assault and kidnapping for an incident on August 31st, but the charges were dismissed November 1st. South Carolina lifted her suspension last week. She rejoined the team on Wednesday, and Dawn told us she is ready to roll. So the second foul on Sanaya Rivers sends her to the bench. Significant foul there for a critical player for NC State. Isaiah James gives it up. Cox has it denied by Watkins, soaring to make the deflection, and then Watkins able to finish.
Ashlyn Watkins is just loaded with talent, and she displays it on both ends of the floor. You have to be able to fake a pass with her because she's got length, athleticism, quickness, and finishing on the offensive end.
Brooks needs someone to go touch it. No one does, and it's going to be a violation.
I mean, the defense to offense, and here you see Ashlyn Watkins, 6'2", blocks it, teammate corrals it, pushes it ahead, but she's got the skills, body control, can finish inside amongst a couple defenders.
7 turnovers for NC State already in this first quarter. Here's Tessa Johnson, one of the heroes of last year's national championship game. Can't hit the jumper. Rebound Walker, and the putback.
South Carolina just doing what they do. Disruptive defensively all over the offensive glass.
5-0 boards already in this first quarter for South Carolina to go with those 7 turnovers they forced. 3-second difference game in shot clock. Zoe Brooks elevates, can't finish. Rebound Watkins, plenty of time for South Carolina. Johnson tosses to Watkins, she'll fire. Can't hit, leaves some time for NC State as well. Quickly up the floor, Jones. And that's gonna be a travel. It was just, let's just say it was an accelerated jump stop.
You heard it as much as you saw it.
Yeah.
A thump stop.
Ooh, I like that. 9 turnovers in the quarter for NC State. South Carolina riding a 39-game winning streak. Leads by 3 after 1 in Charlotte.
Where South Carolina leads NC State by 3. They may no longer have Camila Cardoso in Columbia, but they are still able to dominate the paint. 14 of South Carolina's 17 points have come inside, and it's not just been by their bigs, but their guards, offensive boards, in transition in the quarter court as well. NC State just having all kinds of difficulty keeping the Gamecocks out of the inside.
This game a rematch of last season's semifinal. South Carolina winning that one en route to their 3rd national championship. 78-59 final in that Final Four matchup. South Carolina used a 29-6 third quarter to separate from NC State in that contest. James gets fouled on the drive as we send things over to Holly Rowe.
Well, you talked about the early turnovers, 9 turnovers in that first quarter for NC State. So listening into their huddle, it was player run for much of it. Isaiah James saying, we're not playing our game. We're going too fast. They want to slow down, reverse the ball, not have one shot and out. And then Wes Moore made a point to talk about getting back on defense. They're getting killed on the glass and then not getting back, giving up too many layups on the other end.
Good stuff, Holly. Thank you very much. That layup no good on a pretty good attempt there for Tilda Trieger.
But it was contested. So even when you get by South Carolina's first line of defense, they still have elite shot blockers on the back line.
Edwards, too strong.
She's too strong. She is so good. She is a great finisher. We talked about how she gets to the offensive glass. She can defend as well, play multiple positions. They have so much to be excited about with this young woman.
19-14, South Carolina leads it, largest lead of the game thus far. Bounce it inside, taken away, another turnover. Edwards on the steal, Edwards coast to coast, gets fouled, and Joyce Edwards will shoot 2. Remember, she has those kind of handling skills Dawn Staley has talked about how she's capable of playing the 1, the 6'3" freshman.
She was on defensively. She's playing the 5. She's behind in the post, able to get around, get the steal, and then just take it herself the other way.
Hey, coming up next here from Spectrum Center, Virginia Tech takes on Iowa, 5:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Saw some pretty big alums in the building from those two schools.
That's right.
Kate Martin, Liz Kitley. We welcome all of you watching on ESPN. Ally tip-off here in Charlotte. South Carolina and NC State. South Carolina, 21-14 second quarter lead on NC State. Ryan Rucco alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo, Holly Rowe. Happy to be with you on this Sunday afternoon. First of 2 games. We'll have Iowa, Virginia Tech up next on ESPN2. South Carolina riding a 39-game winning streak into this contest. Some of you who've been with us on our nomadic networks today have heard us tell this story, but for those of you just joining us, Chloe Kitt's not playing today. Normally a starter, not playing today because of an academic policy issue. Meanwhile, Ashlyn Watkins is back today for South Carolina. She had faced charges of assault and kidnapping for an incident on August 31st, but the charges were dismissed November 1st. South Carolina lifted her suspension last week. She rejoined the team Wednesday. Dawn Staley talked about what an amazing job Ashlyn did staying in shape while she was away from the team, getting basketball time in as well. She's from Columbia, was in her high school gym, was in fantastic shape, and so Dawn said she is ready to roll, and judging by the minutes we saw in the first quarter, she looked ready to roll.
Yes.
Quigley unable to hit the 3, and the rebound flagged down by Fagan. Lob it inside and out of bounds, too tall for Joyce Edwards as South Carolina turns it over. Let's see who's on the floor, brought to you by Ally. For NC State, Madison Hayes, Zoe Brooks, Isaiah James, Trieger, and Quigley. Sanaya Rivers on the bench with 2 fouls as Trieger able to dance her way to the bucket.
I'm really interested in Trieger and her abilities because she's 6'6", she can take 3, she's got good moves inside, nice length. She's going to be a fun one to watch the next couple of years at NC State.
Freshman from Sweden, Edwards, no, rebound, flagged down by Trieger. Westmore loves the skill of Trieger, just needs her to get a little stronger, a little tougher, but can shoot it as well. When West went to go see her play in Lithuania, she went 5 for 6 from 3. He said, I got to get out of here now. I got my mind made up. James buries the 3, and just like that, tied at 21, a 7-0 run for NC State. Alpal looking to respond, cannot, out of bounds to NC State. You see Pau Johnson, Tessa and Raven on the floor. Fulwiley coming back in.
But NC State,
Fagan and Edwards.
Sorry, NC State has a smaller lineup than South Carolina. I thought the last few possessions, South Carolina should have looked to go into Edwards. She just has a size advantage on Hayes.
Zoe Brooks banks it in. A 9-0 NC State run.
Look at Edwards fighting inside.
And that's going to be an offensive foul. Madison Hayes fired up as Edwards gets whistled for the personal.
And you got to give Hayes all kinds of credit because she was battling inside. She gives up size in that matchup. She's at 6 feet, one-on-one, and she was battling and got the foul called.
Oh, nice look. Hayes to James. It's an 11-0 run for NC State. Ooh, wow. That could have been dangerous, and Isaiah James immediately says, my bad, as Fulwiley and James, both just supreme athletes, just avoided a nasty collision there.
NC State has done a better job getting to the defensive glass. They have taken care of the basketball, not turned it over, fueled South Carolina the other way. That's the reason they've been able to come back and take this lead.
First foul on James. 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. Here's Raven Johnson. Off to Fagan. Her jumper won't go. Rebound Trieger.
And a great box out by Hayes. She is really battling well inside. Gives up 3 inches to Edwards.
Quigley gets denied. Saved by Johnson. Knew she couldn't be the first to touch it then, and Fulwiley able to grab it. Fulwiley unable to bank it in. Edwards has it stripped away. Got it back. Fulwiley settles with a jumper, and that'll end the 11-0 run.
And credit Edwards. Not only did she get the basketball, she felt the 3 around her, knew that the wise decision was to pass it out to Fulwiley.
6 offensive boards now for South Carolina. Here's James. James was so good in that run to the Final Four a season ago. Really boosted her pro stock. Here's Brooks. Brooks, and a foul is called. Was it a kick before the foul? It'll be NC State ball. 25-23, NC State leading it.
A push right now for the NC State Wolfpack. Isaiah James with a beautiful cut and finish at the rim. You could not have scripted a better ending to this magical season.
Clark, oh my! And Johnson picks the pocket of Clark. What a momentum buster to end the half.
This year's South Carolina team has multiple weapons.
Undefeated South Carolina has won its 3rd national championship. And Caitlin Clark says goodbye to college basketball.
All I have to say is the revenge tour is over.
Thanks for coming back to the Ally Tip-Off in Charlotte, North Carolina. Dawn Staley's team, of course, victorious last year in the national championship game. 3rd national title for Dawn in South Carolina. They ride a 39-game winning streak into this game. NC State does have 4 wins against AP #1s in program history. And right now a 2-point second quarter lead on South Carolina. Staley told us she felt in that first game against Michigan that her team was a little too loose, needed to get back to their habits as Watkins lays it in.
Good find by Te-Hina Pow. Looked first to the left side of the floor and then looked back and saw that Watkins was wide open.
4:20 to go in this first half. Here's Trieger. Trieger can't whip it in. Johnson swiftly up the floor. Fulwiley, little hesitation, hops in and finishes.
So a little bit more hang time than most of the women playing college basketball.
A 6-0 response from South Carolina following an 11-0 run from NC State. Here's Cox. Nia Rivers been on the bench a while for NC State with 2 fouls. Zoe Brooks gets the whistle against Fulwiley, and Zoe Brooks is going to shoot 2.
The guard play, the last couple possessions for South Carolina. First, you have Te-Hina Pow coming in, or Malaysia Fulwiley with the finish, the bucket. And there she goes again. And prior to that, you saw Pow with a nice assist to Watkins. Now, this last couple times down for NC State, while they have a big lineup in right now, and we've seen quite a bit early in this game where they've had 1 big and 4 guards, but they had a 5-out set going. And Westmore was telling us this morning that they'll probably run a little bit more 5-out this year. They might run more, maybe all guard lineups. Yeah. He said, when have you done that in your career? And he said, never.
Yeah.
He's known as a 4-out, 1-in, post player inside kind of a coach, but trying to work with his personnel.
Especially while his posts adjust and get some experience. Jones knocked it away. Edwards trying to get back after it. but NC State forces the steal.
Good hands by Jones, and then pursuit of the ball as well.
Here's Jones cutting through, can't hook it in. Been a lot to like about Maria Jones, though, in this first half. A freshman from Greenville, North Carolina. Number 17 recruit this year. Knocked away again. Isaiah James travel.
I thought that might have been a Euro. Is that a travel?
Close.
Jones got the ball once again because of her active hands. 1, 2. Yeah, travel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there was a Euro. And then they got on the flight and flew a little further. Pow gets the roll. Tough bucket from Te-Hina Pow.
Don Staley wanted to see more from her than just the threes. She's certainly seen quite a bit already here in this first half.
See our men's doubleheader Tuesday on ESPN. Cooper Flag in the second of those games. Here's James coming back to the basketball. Little extended 8-1 run for South Carolina, following an 11-0 run from NC State. That's a travel too. Holly?
You're talking about Don Staley wanting more for Te-Hina. You know, she was one of the best three-point shooters in the country last year, but Don wants her in the paint. She likes the guard that can pop out and hit the three, but that can also get downhill, much like she was as a player for the Charlotte Sting right here in this town. She said, I want paint twos where her feet at least get into the paint, attack the rim, and change that level of her game.
Yes, and she has seen that thus far today, Holly. The most wins by head coach in Division I history. Tara Vanderveer at the top of the list. Gino Auriemma closing in, just 2 wins away from tying Tara. Hey, coming up on the Jeep Halftime Report, Rory Harmon in Texas back in business. So good to see Rory back playing. And history at Stanford. Amina Smith and Andrea Carter will have the Jeep Halftime for you. And you will have UConn UNC next week in what could be the game where Gino would tie Tara Vanderveer. Fulwiley connects on a 3.
NC State, who just about never plays zone, came out in that possession playing zone, and then Mylasia Fulwiley was the zone buster.
She said, oh, I like this zone.
Yes.
An 11-1 run. Collier inside, able to finish. Good patient bucket from Mallory Collier. Fulwiley flips it in.
You know what Mylasia Fulwiley still likes? The NC State zone.
Yeah, I'd say so. Collier gets hit. Can't flip it in, but will go to the line to shoot 2.
How about Mylasia Fulwiley? I mean, she just steps into this one confidently, drains the 3, beautiful arc, and then right into the teeth of it. Free throw line area, drains that one as well. She's cooking.
12 points for Fulwiley, who will get a breather here. 9 in the quarter. Fulwiley picked up her second foul as Collier goes to the line. Hey, coming up next here on ESPN, Mark Few leads 6th-ranked Gonzaga against Arizona State. Game also available on the ESPN app. You know, you always impress me, but I just have to say today's performance has been particularly noteworthy. How you have concentrated through the potent gasoline smell that we have had at the table all game. I'm amazed at your focus.
And I at yours.
I mean, it feels like we're Huff and Hess over here. That 3 is good for Pow Pow. And a knock away from Pow Pow. Lead is 9 now for South Carolina. Dangerous handle there, and it's knocked out of bounds by the Gamecocks. A 16-3 run for South Carolina.
And what made South Carolina so dangerous a year ago and continues this season is their ability to have multiple players shoot and make from the 3-point line. Nice move.
Yeah, good footwork there from Collier. Mallory Collier, the sophomore center. Was the number 55 recruit a season ago from Tennessee. That's too strong. Fagan just gobbling it up on the interior. 7-0 boards for South Carolina now, and an 8-0 advantage in second chance points. Here's Jones. Jones, 4 seconds left. Puts it up, missed it badly, out of bounds with 1 second remaining in the half. And that'll do it for the first half. South Carolina, after surrendering an 11-0 run to NC State, falling behind in the second, they storm back and end the quarter on an 18-5 run to take a 9-point lead at the half. And Staley is with Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach, how great is this for your team to tip off the season here in Charlotte, where you were a WNBA star for the Sting and this huge crowd?
I mean, this feels like home. I mean, the Hornets gave me a bedazzled jersey today. I want our kids to feel what it feels like to play in the WNBA, and what a better way than to play in this, you know, the Allied tournament. I hope we play some better basketball. We don't want to set basketball back. We got to put some points on the scoreboard.
That was my next question. You know, NC State went on a run, but you guys answered after that with a run of your own. What changed for your group?
I mean, they're going to go on runs. They're a really good basketball team. So for us, we just got to take their hit, and we just got to keep pounding. We know where our advantages are, and we cannot go away from that. We can't keep just taking jump shots, especially our bigs. I don't mind them shooting it, but get 2 feet in the paint and bury them. That's where our advantage is for right now.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right, Dawn Staley's team, a 9-point lead at the half. Time to go back to the studio. Amina, take it away. Welcome back to the Ally Tip-Off. South Carolina riding a 39-game winning streak, leading NC State 39-0 as we get ready to start the third quarter in Charlotte. Hey again, everybody, Ryan Rucco alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. You know, South Carolina, they have so many different ways they can beat you. Their guards really stepped up, especially towards the end of that first half.
Yeah, without question. And it started with Te-Hina, their starting point guard. We know that she can make 3-pointers. Well, she's added this to her game as well. Got inside with the floater, complemented it with the 3. And then off the bench, Fulwiley brought the energy as she always does. Can do the spectacular. Let's just hang in the air for a second when you get into paint. Also stepped confidently and drained the 3 against the NC State zone backcourt. Terrific for South Carolina in that first half.
South Carolina ended the quarter on an 18-5 run. You see what Fulwiley and Pow did combined 23 points and very efficiently. As we send things over to Holly Rowe.
But what an impressive half for Ashlyn Watkins. After being suspended from the team on August 31st, she had been away from the team, having to train on her own. I saw videos on her Instagram of her working out at Cardinal Newman, her old high school in South Carolina, and she just got back to the team on Wednesday, and here she is playing in a game on Sunday. She had the best plus-minus of the Gamecocks team in that first half. Yes, 2 for 6. Her shot will get better as she goes, but I like that she controlled the things she could control. 5 rebounds, 2 steals, lots of effort. What a crazy turn of events this week, getting cleared on Wednesday and back at it on Sunday.
Coming off the bench for South Carolina, Joyce Edwards getting the start today with Chloe Kitts not playing in this game due to an academic policy issue. So it's Pow, Fagan, Edwards, Hall, and Johnson, and Pow picking up right where she left off.
What do you do with that? Fagan comes out to set the screen. Pow kind of dances behind it, gets her defender stuck, and just drains the 3.
14 points for Te-Hina Pow. Johnson went for the steal. Sanaya Rivers back in, coughs it up. And then South Carolina throws it right back. 13 turnovers now for NC State, 9 for South Carolina. James directing traffic off to Brooks. Zoe Brooks dumps it in, knocked away from Collier, and it's going to be a held ball. Possession arrow belongs to NC State.
So let's go back to that last possession. Looks simple. Pow Pow is going to get the basketball. If we can go ahead and run it. She's going to get the basketball on the wing. And then when she does, pause it here. It's just Sanaya Fagan coming up. She sets the on-ball screen. Defender gets stuck. And as soon as the defender gets stuck, Pow Pow just dances a little bit. You see her jab with the right foot, step back, and drain it. Simple, but super effective when you can shoot the way Pow Pow can shoot.
I just love seeing how excited you get by the telly. Because, you know, a telly is exciting.
Well, I go through a WNBA season without a telly. I've got this beautiful telly now next to me.
Brooks cups it in.
And really, all tellies are beautiful.
I agree. Mike Fratello taught me that a long time ago.
Great pass.
Pow Pow, run off, leaning and hitting. Te-Hina Pow Pow with 16.
This is 24-25, Te-Hina Pow Pow. She knows that the defense is going to close out on her. The fake, the dribble by, the floater. That's a tough floater on the baseline.
And that's what Dawn Staley talked to us about earlier today, wanting to see that inside the arc game from Pow Pow as Brooke shows a little of her own. And we have seen it today. We've seen Te-Hina Pow Pow scoring in a variety of ways. Pow Pow, who has pro aspirations after this season. Edwards gets denied on the interior. Loose ball, back to Edwards. Flings it out. Johnson in and out on a three, and Rivers comes down with a rebound for NC State. Rivers is not a good pass, and a 14th turnover for NC State.
I mean, Te-Hina Pow Pow, great pass first by Fagan. Fake, you have to close out hard on her, and then the big comes out. She hits that floater over the big. And this last time down defensively, Madison Hayes and the way she is battling with Joyce Edwards has been just really impressive to me all game long.
Pow Pow currently number 10 on ESPN's mock draft for the W this season as Fagan gets free and lays it in.
Beautiful pass by Joyce Edwards, drawing the second defender and makes the simple but the right play.
12 points, South Carolina lead. They are a plus 10 in the paint. Brooks. Lost it. Got it back. Rivers. Sat much of the first half in foul trouble. Rivers couldn't quite finish it. Here comes Raven Johnson. Johnson, what a dart. And Hall lays it in. Timeout, NC State.
South Carolina is simply deadly in transition, and one of the reasons because all of their players run the floor. That time it was Hall.
Ready, set, go.
Well, the 14th annual State Farm Champions Classic tips off Tuesday in Atlanta. Number 1 Kansas takes on Michigan State in our first game at 6:30 Eastern. Then we'll have the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. And after that, Cooper Flagg and number 7 Duke square off against number 23 Kentucky. Just some of the stars you'll be able to watch in that game. Jackson Robinson, Jaden Atkins, Hunter Dickinson, and of course, Cooper Flagg. Here in Charlotte, North Carolina, Ally Tipoff, Isaiah James. Missed that one badly off the side of the backboard. South Carolina, a 39-game winning streak. NC State used an 11-0 run to build a second quarter lead, but South Carolina has controlled the game since. 14-point edge a few minutes into the third. Here's Edwards, the number 3 overall recruit this season, surrounded in a crowd, and a 3-second violation is called on Edwards.
She was just surrounded is like an understatement.
Well, it was impressive she could keep the ball in her hands.
Yes.
How many people were grabbing at it? Holly?
Had asked his players to flood the paint, that they're getting too many little digs, too many passes inside. That was flooding the paint. They flooded Joyce Edwards. He also wants them to test and kick on offense. He doesn't think they're testing South Carolina's defense enough.
Oh, so some people like the drive and kick.
Yeah.
Wes likes the test and kick.
Yes. They mean the same thing.
Yeah.
Flood the paint, I think, is universal, but certainly, Holly, that was exactly what happened on that last defensive possession for NC State.
And that's going to be an offensive foul on Lorena Awu, the freshman center out of Illinois, who Wes Moore very excited about. Said, look, it's going to take a little bit for her to, get her college sea legs, but she's super athletic, can really get up and down the floor, and likes the way that she'll be able to work then with a guard-heavy NC State team.
It's especially important to have your sea legs if you're flooding the paint.
Very nicely done. Edwards, what a spin! Oh, Edwards just couldn't finish off the highlight. South Carolina bench was all ready to celebrate.
That's a really hard play defensively to guard when you have the post-to-post screen coming from one elbow to the other, and especially when Edwards is able to spin back.
Here's Edwards. Hall. Fagan looking to turn the corner, lost it, got it back, finds Edwards for two. 50-34, South Carolina leads it. Here's Rivers with a hand in her face. Will shoot free throws. Sanaya Fagan called for the foul.
We've seen this a couple times now from South Carolina where paint is flooded and leaves somebody wide open. And the previous time, it was Joyce Edwards making the pass. That time, Sanaya Fagan making the pass. When you have bigs who are just willing passers, it's so fun to play this game.
Rivers hits the first. Sanaya Rivers, all ACC first team a season ago. There's an AP All-American honorable mention. Wes Moore's talked about both her and Isaiah James learning not to hang their heads when things go wrong. Thought they made great strides with that a season ago as Rivers tips that out of bounds. Kate Martin catch that? I think she did. Yeah, that was Kate who caught that basketball.
You know, she has good hands.
Yeah. Kate Martin sitting courtside with Gabby Marshall and Liz Kitley. Some big-time Iowa and Virginia Tech alums. They will play next here from Charlotte on ESPN2. Fulwiley had a big second quarter. Dumps it in. Edwards, the hook, short. Rebound Brooks, trying to stay in and keep possession, and does. Here's James. Weaving, curling, couldn't finish. Edwards secures it. Now South Carolina running for Wiley. Pizza pies it home, plus the foul.
Did you see Fulwiley's eyes? When she caught the basketball and took her dribble, her eyes were on the defender the whole time. Like, what are you going to do about it? Ryan Rucco, what are you going to do about it? Just pretty stuff.
This is the beginning. Hey, 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 hey. This is the beginning. Hey, 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 hey. Look at me, I'm winning. Whoa, can you see the vision? Whoa, this is the.
Wow, Fulwiley! My goodness! Fulwiley around the back.
Good if it goes. Wow. Here she goes. Over the defense.
Oh, look at the pass. Oh, look at the play. Well, Malaysia Fulwiley kept it going today.
It just gets out in transition and a beautiful finish the whole time, looking at the defender, knowing no one's going to stop this. Don Staley told us earlier today it's about trying to play between the big moments, but if they're all big moments, you're good.
Well, Malaysia Fulwiley played a critical role in a national championship game a season ago. And a big game today. It was the first SEC player to average 25 points, 3 steals, and 1 block per 40 minutes since Candace Parker back in the 07-08 season, as we send things over to Holly Rowe.
Well, much like Candace Parker, did you guys know she can dunk? She's 5'7", but she can actually dunk. So I'm holding my breath for the day that we get to see Malaysia dunk in a game like we saw Candace Parker do at Tennessee.
Yeah, and you know what's incredible about that nugget, Holly, and Candace Parker in that 08 season, is consider that Candace Parker went on to be the WNBA MVP that season. So Malaysia doing something that hasn't been done since a WNBA MVP in Candace Parker in 08. And Fulwiley just adding a little more, 16 now for Fulwiley.
Just a little more.
18-point South Carolina lead. They have firmly taken control of this game. Jones missed that one badly. Had some weird knuckling to it as she released it. Fulwiley gathers, takes, no.
She earned that heat check.
Yeah. Oh, Raven Johnson nearly came over the steal.
See the last possession where Fulwiley just gets the offensive board, puts it back up. It feels good to play like this.
She has a magnetic personality too. Just a delightful young woman. And remember last year in Paris, talked to Dawn Staley about Malaysia Fulwiley, and she said she is a generational talent. And we have seen her make those kind of plays already in her collegiate career. Rivers gets denied by Watkins. Here's Fulwiley in transition. Was going for the pass and instead ended up turning it over.
Tonight Rivers could finish this on many players, but not against Ashlyn Watkins. Just the beautiful block, protecting the rim defensively, sending her team the other way.
Jones doesn't get the roll. Watkins secures the rebound. Hall cups it in through the contact, and the lead is now 20 for South Carolina, trying to make it 40 straight wins with a victory today. No field goals in the last 6 minutes for NC State.
And South Carolina's defense has simply been suffocating, and so NC State has gone to a lot of one-on-one. Their guards trying to dribble penetrate. There's been nothing there. We've seen a couple of turnovers like that, trying to get it inside.
Hey, the Week 12 SEC Network football lineup starts at 12:45 Eastern with Auburn hosting UL Monroe. Then number 24 Missouri takes on South Carolina at 4:15, followed by 14th-ranked Texas A&M and New Mexico State. And on SEC Network Plus, Kentucky takes on Murray State, and Alabama hosts Mercer. Alpal can't hit the three, and it tilts out of bounds.
Want to do that promo again?
You know what? I flexed once getting it in on a walk-up. I'm not going to do it again for you, all right, Rebecca?
I like when you flex on a walk-up. Well done.
It's these little TV intricacies that really get us going. Wow, Fulwiley now with the rejection. What can she do?
Malaysia will Fulwiley. We've seen her, what she can do on the offensive end, and then defensively here as well. Gets beat by a step, able to recover, save the play.
5 blocks for South Carolina. NC State has missed its last 8 shots. Here's James. James with good footwork. Isaiah James gets fouled and will shoot 2.
They missed their last 8 because a lot of them have looked like this. They've been forced to just go one-on-one and take really tough looks. South Carolina has shot blockers on their back line. They've got quickness and length in their guard spot.
See, Dawn Staley did not feel like that was a foul. Rebecca, let's talk about Isaiah James for a moment, because last year, the way she played in the tournament, it felt like, I mean, she really, and we talked to some people around the WNBA as well, she definitely got on some radars in a way that perhaps she wasn't at the beginning of last season.
Yeah, she's such a skilled and talented guard, especially on the offensive end. In the tournament last year, she averaged 23.5 points a game and shot 50% from 3. Super efficient and effective, But yeah, her game, I think, is going to be really good at the next level.
Southpaw shooter. Bree Hall will check out, picking up her 3rd foul. Joyce Edwards back in, just steamrolled Isaiah James. Here's Watkins. And lost it out of bounds to NC State. Here's the other thing. I mean, and Holly talked about this just in regard to the chemistry of this South Carolina team. Dawn Staley plays so many players. It's so rare that you see a top team have a rotation as deep as South Carolina's, and it meant everything to them in that national championship game. When the starters were struggling, Dawn had several buttons she could push because of the way she had built up that trust throughout the season.
Talk about their depth right now. Joyce Edwards is out there as the 3. This is a really big front line for South Carolina.
Right, gives versatility. Fulwiley shovels, got it back, and flips it in, why not? 18 for Mylasia Fulwiley. And a steal from Pow Pow. Pow Pow gets denied. Rivers able to just claw it away. Now Isaiah James hooks a pass, hit the deck. Jones backs it out. Got a 14-second difference game in shot clock. Jones buries the 3. We've seen some of that in this game. Zamaria Jones, she's shown flashes where she's going to be a player to watch this year for NC State.
Especially her moxie. You know, her willingness to make those moves, take those shots. She's 3 for 10, but man, she looks like a confident player out there.
Knocked away by Rivers, kicked over to Fulwiley. 4 seconds left in the quarter. Mylasia looking to go to work. Fulwiley at the horn. No. And that'll do it for the 3rd. NC State, a little 7-2 push at the end of the quarter, but a 15-point lead for South Carolina. Pow Pow and Fulwiley, 34 combined, doing it efficiently.
South Carolina looking very much like the reigning national champion, getting out in transition, getting inside, scoring in the paint. Their bigs, their forwards, their guards, they're all getting it done. South Carolina up 15 here in Charlotte, and freshman Joyce Edwards has made quite an impact here in her first start of the season. Gets it done on both ends of the floor, doing a little bit of everything, getting to the offensive glass, finishing inside, defending, passing to teammates as well. And with more, Holly?
Well, you know what's so precious is Joyce Edwards is from South Carolina, and when she was a little girl, she would mop up the floors at the home arena, Colonial Life Arena, after South Carolina home games. And in exchange, she would get a free ticket to watch the games and watch one of her idols, Asia Wilson. And I just think back to that little girl mopping the floors, getting an opportunity to see and learn from Asia Wilson. And now here she is in a Gamecock uniform, her first start today. What a long journey for this young woman, and I just think, you know, if you can see her, you can be her. She got an opportunity to see Asia Wilson, and now here she is in the same uniform.
It's so cool, Holly, and I mean, a player that everybody in South Carolina very excited to see for years to come as James finishes on the interior.
How about that crossover and wrong foot finish?
13 now for Isaiah James. NC State, little 9-2 push dating back to the end of the 3rd. It's a 13-point game. Pow Pow bounces. Fagan gets denied, but a foul. Sanaya Fagan will shoot 2.
NC State foul number 3, Sam Jones, second personal, first team.
Fagan, 68% a year ago at the line. This is the first. They still to come on ESPN2, Virginia Tech, and Iowa.
I'm looking forward to that Virginia Tech
Yes.
Iowa game. Both teams like to really get up and down the floor. They take threes. They share the basketball really well. I think it's going to be a really entertaining, well-played game.
Trieger off on a three. Rivers with a rebound and a foul on Pow.
Papa says the official, I'm just boxing out, but you can't box her out while she's in the air. And push her.
There's Kate Martin, Gabby Marshall right next to her. You see two people down, Liz Kitley as well. Kitley, the all-time leading scorer at Virginia Tech. We know the huge roles Martin and Marshall played on Iowa's teams that went to back-to-back national championship games with Caitlin Clark. Fagan hits the jumper. By the way, Kate Martin and Liz Kitley will speak with us during that second game on ESPN2, so make sure you hop over following the conclusion of South Carolina NC State. Jones, nice backdoor feed, and Brooks lays it in. Pow dumps it inside. Edwards travel.
Edwards was denying on the right wing, and that's when Brooks was just able to read it, go back door, pass delivered beautifully. You just saw Joyce Edwards get called for the travel. That's one area that she has to clean up. She has 7 turnovers in this game. Settle her feet a little bit. Brings so many great things, but like most freshmen is also going to have, you know, some of those things to work on as the season goes on.
Jones going one-on-one with Raven Johnson, who's always up to the task. Here's Rivers. Rivers lost the handle, fading away. No, now 1 of 6 from the floor. Wow. Hall and Brooks, big collision in the backcourt. Fulwiley backs it out. Sanaya Rivers we're seeing struggle much like she did in the semifinal against South Carolina. Just 4 points today, 1 of 6 from the floor.
Yeah, she was 2 of 11 in that semifinal game.
Had 5 turnovers as well. That lasted Fulwiley. South Carolina turns it over. Deficit is just 13 with a lot of time left for NC State. Brooks. Gus Morris talked about how sometimes Brooks a little too loose with the handle. Gets it off to Jones. Sam Jones throws it behind Trieger. It is a 19th turnover for NC State. Fagan gets denied. What a rejection from Rivers. Jones, a 3 is good. NC State with a little momentum. They've cut the deficit to 10. And a timeout taken by South Carolina.
NC State has been able to get stops on the defensive end, including the spectacular block by Sanaya Rivers, and then coming the other way, stepping confidently in and cutting it to a 10-point deficit.
Longest win streaks in women's SEC history. Tennessee had a 46-game winning streak. South Carolina had a 42-game winning streak, an active streak of 39 games, so they can set the SEC record if they tally up a few more wins. They are leading by 10, but led by 20 late in the third. NC State on a 14-4 extended run, and Watkins plays in.
Really well designed play. It was a post-to-post screen into a high-low to get Watkins the touch. Fagan with the perfectly delivered pass.
Rivers using the Trieger screen. James's 3 is short. Johnson the rebound. There's 6 minutes to go in the fourth. A reminder, Virginia Tech, Iowa coming up next on ESPN2. Offensive foul here called against South Carolina.
But South Carolina's posts are working hard inside and posting up, and that's where they're looking. We heard Dawn Staley in her halftime interview with Holly Rose say, you know, we have to remember where we want to get the basketball. And right now, they're trying to make a concerted effort to at least give their posts inside a look.
Rivers bounces. James flings it out. Jones again. Zam Jones, a confident freshman with her 4th three of the game.
Clapping in his stance. She is fired up.
From North Carolina, really impressive here in just her 2nd collegiate game. Let's cut it to 9. Raven Johnson dishing. Pow's 3 won't go. Rebound knocked away by Hall. Another offensive board for South Carolina. An 11-3 advantage on the O glass for South Carolina.
The other end just stepping in to the 3. You commented on how confident this freshman is.
Pow zips through the paint, knocked away. 8 to shoot, stolen. James flings it ahead. Jones flags it down and lays it in. It's a 7-point game. A 19-6 run for NC State has shaved a 20-point deficit down to 7. Pow's jumper is good. Big bucket there for the 5th-year senior. Trieger in the corner. Too much on it. Pow off and running. Pow will peel back. Clock is the friend of South Carolina. 9-point lead under 4 minutes to go. 10 to shoot. Fagan. Little hook, short. Rebound knocked around, grabbed by Brooks. Here comes Brooks, one-on-one with Pow. Zoe Brooks took it to the body, but just couldn't finish it. Pow. She's had a couple opportunities in transition last 2 trips, but has opted to settle things down and run some clock.
And I think actually she probably should push it because South Carolina has been stalled a little bit in their quarter-court offense, whereas they've been really good when they've been able to have pace.
Raven Johnson flips it in off a beautiful crossover. Lead is back to 11 for South Carolina. 4 straight points to stem the tide. 2:45 to go. Jones stripped, controlled by South Carolina. 20th turnover, then Jones yanks it back. Held ball and possession arrow belongs to the Gamecocks.
This young woman who just plays with a certain spunk and fire that I absolutely love. Both offensively and defensively. She's certainly earned the minutes she's getting here today.
Watkins out, Joyce Edwards back in for South Carolina. James Hayes, Jones, Brooks, and Rivers. The 5 for NC State. Pow, Raven Johnson, Bree Hall, and Sanaya Fagan, the players joining Joyce Edwards. Edwards tosses it out of bounds. 7 turnovers now for Edwards. Playing in just her 2nd collegiate game. A lot to love about what she's done today, and the struggles have been the turnovers. Jones gets denied by Edwards. You can see Sam Jones is so exhausted, breathing heavy.
Just played hard.
Yep. Raven Johnson. Is it stolen? Isaiah James. Off the deflection, dumps it in, and Brooks lays it home. Now Westmore wants his team to press. 9-point game. Pow flings it across the floor. Hall won't take it, will run some clock.
Right decision.
Shot clock is at 10. Pow loses it, but a kick. Keep things here with South Carolina.
Just seeing pushing in transition. NC State, to get back in this, needs to get stops and then quick looks the other way. That was just a beautiful little alley-oop to Brooks.
Zoe Brooks up to 11.
Something about the little to little alley-oop. That's
Absolutely.
special.
This doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't.
Fagan goes right at Hayes, can't pop it in. Rebound NC State. Jones. Rivers curling it up and off. Sanaya Rivers now 1 for 7 from the floor. And Brooks fouls Raven Johnson. Side out of bounds here for South Carolina.
That was a smart foul because they're tired. These players are tired, and this gives a chance for Zoe Brooks and her teammates to kind of catch their breath for a second, settle in, figure out what they want to do defensively.
They have multiple fouls to give still.
Ooh, they just gave one. It just wasn't called.
Nope. Pow says yes, yes. It's an 11-point South Carolina lead. Te-Hina Pow up to 20 points on the day.
NC State was trying to give a foul, and they did. They smacked Pow right here. Boom, that's a foul. And so then you're out of position, and a great job once again by Pow to get into the paint and get the little floater to fall. She's been really good today, Ryan. Really good.
9 for 15 from the floor. He's turned it over just 2 times. Hayes has it knocked off her leg, out of bounds. South Carolina ball.
Hall's done that a couple of times where she's been the help defender and has smacked at it and has forced a turnover.
Timeout, South Carolina.
Coaches defensively want their teams to have active hands. This is what Hall does right here, active hands.
Yep.
She smacks at that and saves the possession for her team. We've seen her do that a couple of times from that exact spot on the floor.
Well, for South Carolina, on the brink of their 40th straight win, if they were to get that 40th win, they would become just the second program to have multiple 40-game winning streaks. The other program, obviously, is UConn, who has done it 4 times. But 49 seconds away from 40 straight wins for South Carolina. Fulwiley and Pow have been the anchors of their attack today. Fulwiley 18 points on 8 of 14 shooting. Pow 20 points on 9 of 15 shooting.
And on a day when South Carolina has struggled to find consistency from the three-point line, they're only 3 of 13 from deep. They continue to dominate the paint. 50 of their 68 points have come inside.
NC State not trapping. Down 11. Hall will dribble out some more clock. Off to Edwards. Shot clock at 8. Into the corner. Pow, pow. You bet. A little exclamation point from Te-Hina Pow Pow. Jones unable to hit the 3. Pow Pow the rebound. And South Carolina can dribble this out. 40 straight wins for South Carolina. 71-57, the final today against NC State. And the Gamecocks just the second D1 program all time with multiple 40-game win streaks.
There's a reason South Carolina is ranked #1 in the country, is they can get it done in so many ways. Whether it's a game where they're making from 3 or just relentless in getting into the paint, getting second opportunities, defending like crazy. They just look like they haven't really skipped a beat from a season ago.
Big-time performance from the backcourt of South Carolina. And Te-Hina Pow Pow and Malaysia Fulwiley are with Holly Rowe.
Te-Hina, your versatility was on full display today. From the three-point line, the floater that you broke out, getting into the paint, how have you added to your bag this season?
You know, the training staff take care of me, the coaches take care of me. They did a lot to help me out throughout the offseason, and it's paying off.
They made a little run here at the end to make it interesting. They pull within single digits. What did you like about the way your team kind of stopped that and closed this out with a big win?
We've been here before. We played against Michigan. We had those type of moments, and we were built for it today, and we pulled through.
40 straight wins. How do you have the focus, the attention, the detail to get 40 straight?
You just got to be consistent, come into practice every day with a hard work mindset, and just be consistent and take one game at a time.
Thank you, Te-Hina. All right, Malaysia, I got to hit you on this. You come in, you're off the bench, and you find your pace quickly. How are you able to do that?
You know, just trusting in myself, believing in myself. I feel like I put in a lot of reps during practice, during the weekend. When it's game time, I feel like it's only right for me to show what I've been working on all week.
How fun is it when this crowd here in North Carolina is going crazy at your handles, at your scoop and score, all the stuff you're doing?
It's amazing. It felt like the CLA really, I did like a fake pass and I missed the layup, but the crowd was going crazy, so I was like, yeah, this is a great environment. It kind of pushed me to want to go out there and do something else, because I love when a crowd is loud like this. It just gets me hype and makes me motivated to want to do something, really.
Yeah, I feel like you're the brightest when the lights come on, right?
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to my coach, Khadijah Sessions, man. She keep up with me. She helping make me sure I'm straight, and she just keep on putting confidence into me, and it works every time. So I'm just proud for the coaching staff that I have, and very blessed to be out here and do what I love.
All right, 40 straight wins. What do you think it is about this group?
It's everything for me. It's like, nah, it's really just togetherness. I mean, we love each other. We win together. We don't lose together, but we just do everything together, so I love it.
All right, we love watching you play. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly.
Well, Malaysia's right. They don't lose. She hasn't lost a game yet in her collegiate career, so that's a fact. For Hall of Famers Rebecca Lobo, Holly Rowe, and our entire crew, I'm Ryan Rucco, producer Carly Callahan, director Mike Griffin. Thanks for watching this presentation of college basketball on ESPN. We've got Virginia Tech and Iowa coming up in about 30 minutes on ESPN2. Gonzaga, Arizona State men up next on ESPN. Kevin Connors, Seth Greenberg get you set after the break.